Hello, everyone, and welcome to Open Mic Gripe with myself, Jeffrey Ide, and my partner, Jay Rice, the place where serious and silly complaints come to chat. Open Mic Gripe is a weekly podcast dedicated to hearing your gripes, grievances, and opinions on any and all topics.
If you feel like we are wrong, inappropriate, or biased, then call in, email, or tweet, and let your voice be heard. You can email us at openmicgripe@gmail.com or tweet us at openmicgripe. Both of those are one word. So come on and jump on in and gripe on the open mic with Jay Rice and Jeffrey Ide. Hi, what's your name again? Jeffrey? Jeffrey, okay. Yeah, so Jeffrey, you had a question for me. That was nice and lighthearted. I appreciate that. I've got a question for you.
Like, don't expect me to be bacon.
Don't expect you to eat bacon? Are you a vegetarian?
To be bacon.
Oh. I'll be bacon. I don't know, whatever. Okay. What do you think about patriotism?
Patriotism.
No, I like the way I said it. Patriotism.
Patriotism. America. Patriotism.
Patriotism.
What do I think about it? Are you going to give me any context, or are you going to be... the idea, it's a pretty grand and open idea.
Okay, now I realize that when this gets released, we're probably going to be... It's going to be a little bit later. But right now, what's big in the news... Should I not spoil this, that we release these later than what's going on?
Well, we're not releasing them live yet, but we will eventually. This is... But yeah, so you're
that's
saying,
what we want to get to. But right now, it's big is the Eric Shepard Challenge. Have you heard about this?
The Eric Shepard Challenge?
The Eric Shepard Challenge.
I don't know it.
Basically, what this is you know how the ice challenge video, or like the ice bucket challenge was huge? Well, now people are just creating all these different types of challenges, and this one is basically it's getting people to go out and stomp on the American flag.
Okay.
That's the challenge.
Why is that a challenge?
Well, stomping, let's see. It says, Eric Shepard disappeared from the Valdosta campus last week and is being sought by the police on a gun charge. And Shepard reportedly self-identifies as a terrorist against white people.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically they say that that flag represents white supremacy, racism, which is plaguing the entire earth. So when we step on that flag, we are stepping on racism, white supremacy.
I'm not really sure it works like that. Matt Shepard, you said his name was?
No. Matt Shepard was... that has to do with the LGBT community,
Wait.
And that was the kid that was like...
What's this guy's name?
Eric Shepard.
Eric Shepard, okay.
Apparently the Shepards are having a hard time.
No kidding. Okay, this is... I don't know. This whole thing it just strikes me as in bad taste. But that being said, I personally would never have an issue with somebody who wanted to step on a flag.
Yeah, I mean, one thing they're talking about is that the legality of the flag stomping videos is not in dispute. The motivation for such an act is largely what veterans and patriots both find disgusting and disturbing.
What part?
Stomping on the American flag.
What's the problem with that?
Well, they fought and a lot of their buddies died for our country.
But they didn't die for the flag. They died for an idea. And the idea is not embodied in a flag. That's just symbolism.
But don't you think that's what some people believe, is that the flag symbolizes everything that the U.S. stands for. And everything that they fought for. They fought for that flag.
But they shouldn't symbolize their frustration with an act. So what I mean
now, who are you talking about, though?
So what I mean by that is, okay, patriotism in itself is, I think, one of the silliest ideas that humans have ever come up with, right up there with religion. It just, it's ridiculous to be proud of a place that you're born in simply because you're born there. Or better yet, if you're not from that place, what's your source of patriotism? Pride? Honor?
Because they fought in a war.
Right. No, I'm not.
And died.
I'm never going to be ungrateful for the great efforts that my relatives and the people of this country have been through. But at the same time, the concept of patriotism has to do with pride. And I don't understand what military service has to do with pride. People did what they did because, especially in the world wars, they had to.
But they didn't have to. I mean, unless they were drafted, they enlisted on their own behalf. People are still enlisting because they have a pride for this nation.
Well, that actually comes back to, it's a bit of misapprehension when, during the Vietnam War, when they were transitioning away from the draft, it was to gain public support for military endeavors without allowing your neighbors and your cousins to all be forcefully pulled into the war and therefore have a public voice against any given war. It was a drift, as Rachel Maddow would call it. But honestly, this idea that military service is patriotic, number one, is a just completely false conclusion.
So,
number two, that patriotism is a good thing still needs to be justified.
Say those again for me.
Number one, if there's anyone out there who thinks that patriotism is synonymous with military service, then I don't think they understand why they're in the military in the first place.
So you're saying, I guess, so just being in the military doesn't make you patriotic.
Correct. And just being a patriot doesn't mean that your natural conclusion is to go to the military.
That makes sense.
The military and patriotism are two very different things that often have similarities with them, that often have things in common. But it's the idea of patriotism is a willingness to do someone else's bidding, in honor of an idea of what your country means to you. And you notice how the patriots always tend to define their country by what they think it should be, as opposed to what it actually is. Now, Bertrand Russell liked to say, patriots are the people who are willing to kill and be killed.
Bertrand Russell? Is he from the U.S.?
Bertrand Russell was a Welsh philosopher.
Wow.
But he talked about patriotism.
What does he know?
Only Americans can be patriots.
Exactly.
No, Bertrand Russell liked to say that patriot is somebody who's willing to kill and be killed for reasons he cannot possibly comprehend. And what he's getting at here is anybody who really puts thought into it will see that military action is not the first step you want to take in terms of providing honor and all this good thing to your country. Honestly, patriotism... there's a lot of countries in the world that are willing to accept me as a citizen. A lot of countries in the world that have a much better standard of living than the place I'm living currently. The reason I'm living here is not because I enjoy living paycheck to paycheck, but it's because I actually have a chance to make this place a little bit better for the people who live here, in hopes that they become a little bit more civically responsible, end up voting, so we have a much more responsible country internationally.
You know what? I think I have a few people that would like to say a few words to you.
Okay.
Because I feel like this is what they would say to you right now if people were on the phone. How about like this guy, Michael Nugent? Possibly not related to Ted Nugent, who is the biggest patriot.
Oh, yes. He defines patriotism.
Stepping on and desecrating a flag isn't going to bring about change in America. But what will is getting these people out who think it's such a good idea to do so. So my challenge to those people who are willing to do the Eric Shepard challenge is get out. Leave the United States. Because honestly, we don't really want you here.
All right. So this is one that I've heard ever since I was a kid. If you don't like this country, you can leave.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
So I just wanted to make a quick video on my reaction to Eric Shepard, a.k.a. Colvin.
I can't stop it.
Memorandum ultimatum.
There we go. Okay, hold on. It's strange that you said that, Jeffrey, because I think somebody else has something to say to you.
All right.
This guy's name is not Windy Blossom. Shane Lawler. This is what he would have to say to you.
And so my message to you is this: if you don't like what America has to offer you, pack your shit up and get the fuck out. There might be another country on this planet that's capable of dealing with your bullshit, but That's not me.
You laughed about the sheep.
I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, and I can tell you right now that if I was in public and I saw someone dancing on the American flag, me and you would have problems. So if you don't like what's happening here, leave. There's plenty of other people that are waiting in line to get in this country, and all you're doing is taking up room. So if you don't like it, get out. If you share my feelings in this matter, feel free to share this video.
All right.
And if you're viewing this video because somebody else shared it on their timeline, it probably means that they feel the same way.
All right, no. This is the kind of rhetoric that is just simply not helpful. It's a way to avoid the problem. I've seen this all around. I've seen this in other countries, and I've seen it here. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's basically saying if you disagree with me, you have two possibilities here: agree with me,
or get out.
Agree with me, or I'm going to end the conversation by telling you you're not welcome.
Yeah.
That wonderful democracy that is. The fact that this is just ridiculous. Obviously, I want there to be Tea Party Republicans. I want there to be a diversity of religions in this country. I want there to be all kinds of people who I completely disagree with because their perspective may not be the same perspective I hold. But at least I can gain some understanding from their perspective to know that I am not ideologically driven and actually willing to listen to other people. This is absolutely stupid. It's when people say, it's the same thing as when people say, I'm offended by that. What they're actually trying to tell you is I'm done with this conversation and you need to shut up.
You know what, Jeffrey? I'm offended by this conversation. Get out of my house.
Right?
Get out of my house right now.
No, it's ridiculous.
You think I'm joking?
If you don't like a conversation, you don't tell someone to shut up, or you don't tell someone it's offensive to me, therefore this conversation isn't going to continue. Either just say this conversation makes me uncomfortable, or you learn how to rationally justify the position you have without threatening them like that asshole did.
Oh, man. Dimitri Martin has a great...
Why would you threaten someone?
I want to say...
How is that? I'm sorry, but how is that patriotism? I disagree with you. I'm threatening violence on you.
Well, I don't... He said they would have words. Nobody threatened violence. Quit jumping to your own conclusions.
That's straight up fisticuffs right there.
He said they would have words. Don't put words into other people's mouths.
That's fair.
But I want to say, I believe it was Dimitri Martin that said... if you can't be right, be loud, or whatever. I can't.
Yeah,
I'm screwing this up. But basically, he had a whole joke about basically people being loud, thinking that that's just as much as being right.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
That's my. By the way, that's my technique.
I don't know. It's just It's hard not to get frustrated about this because these people are not exactly, and I don't want to put words in their mouth again, but it seems to me that these people aren't exactly sure why they're patriots.
How do you mean that?
Well, I've not really heard any justification. I want to know why people are proud to be in a country. To me, to be proud to live in a country means that you're proud to make it a better place one step at a time. That you're proud to be a part of the process that allows change to happen. You're proud to be in a democracy. I mean, to be in the United States, to me, that means you're proud to live surrounded by people who disagree with you about everything and knowing that you're safe because everyone's willing to have a rational and reasonable discussion about it. That's what gives me pride in living where I am right now. I don't have to worry about my personal safety every single day. Mm-hmm. I do worry whether or not I get to offend people by disagreeing with them sometimes.
Well, and I think that's one thing that I worry about when I tell jokes is that I try not to offend people, but people can get offended at anything. Now, so if you don't like my jokes, should I get the fuck out the country?
Right.
And go to another country that might like that type of humor? No, well, guess what? I mean, comedy is very individualistic. Yeah. I believe so is patriotism.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that these people, it's not illegal for them to stomp on the flag. Do I personally agree with it? No. I mean, would I, when I say do I agree with it, would I go out and would I stomp on a flag? No, I think it's stupid. It doesn't do anything beneficial.
Yeah, largely symbolic.
But at the same time, when I had a flagpole outside of one of the houses that I bought, and instead of flying an American flag,
right,
I flew a flying spaghetti monster flag.
Okay.
And I love that probably none of my neighbors had any idea what it was.
Well, did they consider you blasphemous or?
I have no idea, possibly.
Okay, so first of all, why the hell do we have American flags everywhere? It's not as if I've forgotten at any one moment what country I live in. Why would anyone feel the need to put a flag outside as if to declare that they're not communists? I mean, it baffles me. We're not living in the McCarthy era of prosecution here. This is an entire country full of people who live in a country and have the choice, for the most part, to leave the country if they want to. Mm-hmm. Knowing that, why would you fly the American flag? It's more of a political statement than it ever is about patriotism.
It does, well, and I think a lot of times it does seem very blind.
Right.
It's just like, you can just say that. In fact, just recently on Facebook, I saw somebody say that they didn't like the idea of nationalism, and somebody said, well, then you can go ahead and leave.
Yeah, okay.
I know, it's just, I hate that argument because it's a poor argument. It doesn't give any thought, any logic to it. It's just, like you said, you don't like it, get out.
I mean, there are a lot of words for this. There's jingoism, chauvinism, nationalism. They're all referring to the pride you have about the land you come from. And when you're living in a hunter-gatherer society and you really only have one choice about where to be, that's a pretty good reason to work together, be cohesive, and absolutely demonize everyone else. But our attitudes towards other countries stem, in my opinion, directly from this blind patriotism, and it's frustrating. How many Americans can name the Prime Minister of Canada? How many Americans can name the President of Mexico? These are our neighbors, hugely influential neighbors. And we don't know a damn thing about them. We're barely able to keep up with American politics.
Well, it's like any American that would ever try to take the American citizens test would fail.
Well, more or less, yeah.
Oh, yes, Jeffrey, I get it. You would pass it.
No, I mean,
we should do that. Actually, let's
take the American test.
Let's do that. Let's take the American citizenship. You know what? Let's pause this, and I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up, and let's see if you can pass the American citizen test.
Only if you'll take it as well.
Well, I'll already know the answers.
Okay. Well, what? You've already done it?
Well, once I make you take it.
Okay. Well, how about this?
Okay. How about...
We're going to each take it individually, and we're going to live talk our way through it.
How about I'll take the first half, and you take the second half?
Deal.
Okay. We'll be back. We'll be back in... Well, it's podcast deal. We're back right now.
I'm going to ask Jay.
Now. Oh, I missed it. I missed my mark.
I'm going to ask Jay. We're going to alternate between asking each other questions on the naturalization test.
And actually, we both looked at question number 1. We have not seen the answers yet, but we both got different questions. So we're just going to go back and forth reading the questions that pull up.
I'm just saying here that the actual civics test is not multiple choice.
Right.
The civics test is an oral test. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the answers, and instead of giving each other multiple choice...
What?
You have to answer the question.
No.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Gee, all right. You should give me multiple choice. All right. I'll try to answer it, but you might have to give me the multiple choice answers.
All right, question number 1.
History is not my area. Are these science questions?
You can do this one.
You have more faith in me than I have in myself right now.
All right. Question number 1.
We are recording, right?
We are recording.
Okay, good.
Question number 1.
Kind of bad, but...
What ocean is on the east coast of the United States?
Atlantic.
Ding, ding, ding.
Hey! Oh, my God. All right. This is a good start for me.
Right.
Okay. All right. Who was president during the Great Depression and World War II?
Roosevelt.
Let me check answer. Sorry, I didn't... Oh, I have to choose one first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, ding. You're correct. It is Franklin Roosevelt.
Thank you. All right. Question number 2. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the states. What is one power of the United States? And I will give you a multiple choice on this.
Okay, wait. Say that question again.
What is one power of the states? So some powers belong to the states. Individual states' rights.
Okay, yeah, all right. I think I can get
which
this
one of the four? Number 1, provide schooling and education. Number 2, coin or print money. Number 3, creating an army.
No.
Or number 4, make treaties.
No, it was the top one. Schools and schools.
God damn, this is too damn easy.
Well, we're on question 2.
All right, go on.
What are 2 cabinet-level positions?
2 cabinet-level positions. So there'd be Secretary of State and there would be...
Okay, so far you're wrong. Let me read these to you.
Okay.
I'll give you...
Just because it's not on there doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Secretary of History, Secretary of Weather and Secretary of Energy, Secretary of Homeland Security. Wait, hold on. We better be keeping score. Get out your piece of... No, hold on. I haven't gotten one wrong yet.
Yeah, but no, hold on. It keeps score automatically.
Does it?
Of course. It's an online quiz.
All right. Nope, you were wrong. It is G.
Who lived in America before the Europeans arrived?
The Native Americans. You guys, I'm way smarter than I thought. Who does a U.S. Senator represent?
A U.S. Senator represents the state that he was elected in. 9.
9?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of donuts.
What?
And then I was thinking of a baker's dozen, which has 13.
Oh.
That's what I was doing.
In the world inside of Jay's head. Name 1 American Indian tribe in the United States.
The Sioux.
I will accept that. You could have chosen between the Celts, Zawi-Kemi.
Okay, who is in charge of the executive branch?
But you chose the Sioux. That would be the president.
Okay. Let's check. Oh, you got that one right. I wouldn't say you're doing great.
Oh, I'd like to see you answer some of these.
I did. I answered a bunch of them.
One without embarrassing yourself.
I pass.
All right. What is the economic system of the United States?
Money.
The options are none of these answers: socialist economy, communist economy, or capitalist economy.
Capitalist economy. I wouldn't have been able to just say that without the multiple. This is how I thought the first test was going to go.
What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance?
The flag?
I hope not, because I have deliberately shown a lack of allegiance to that flag today. All right.
Yeah, we pledge allegiance to the flag. So again...
That is true. You pledge allegiance to the flag.
We pledge allegiance,
but that's wrong, though. It's to the United States.
Well, actually, you know what? I think this is a good point too. I want to actually talk about that because that's actually under God was added
1954.
1954. The original version was wrote in like 1892, or that was when it was officially adopted.
Okay.
And it was actually it was wrote in 1892.
The pledge?
Yeah. And then it was officially adopted in the I know 1892 is something, but whatever. It got changed. Under God got added in 1954.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that are upset right now because a lot of people don't want to say the Pledge of Allegiance because a lot of people do think that it is brainwashing.
Well, it's brainwashing anyway.
Well, some people do, and then they don't want to say under God because there's actually a lot.
Why would you be teaching kids? First of all, I mean that is gripe number 1. Why would you be teaching kids to pledge their lives forever to a country that they do not have the mental capacity yet to fully understand? If they did, we would allow them to vote. But we don't allow them to vote because their juvenile minds cannot fully comprehend the situation. But yet somehow we're willing to rope them into a lifelong pledge.
Yes. I have something for you. All right, so I have something for you, and I actually want you to listen to it first, and then I will tell you what it is. But what do you think about changing our pledge?
Changing it? Well,
changing it.
Why do we need a pledge at all?
I think this one could be better.
Why? Oh, of course it could be better. I mean, the best thing for a pledge is to not make kids promise shit. Why do they keep the pledge for military and federal employees?
I think I can change your mind.
Okay.
All right. So listen to this and tell me what you think. I think we could change this.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you very, very much for letting us little kids live here. It really, really was nice of you. You didn't have to do it. And it's really not creepy to have little kids mindlessly recite this anthem every day and pledge their life to a government before they're old enough to really think about what they're saying. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is really the greatest country in the whole world. All the other countries suck. And if this country ever goes to war, as it often wants to do, I promise to help go and kill all the other countries' kids. God bless Johnson & Johnson. God bless GE. God bless Citigroup. Amen.
Very good, kids. Now come and get your Ritalin.
All right, I see what it's getting at there.
Yeah. So that was actually the whitest kids you know.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah,
I personally enjoy that, but no, it's this idea that there's a pledge for kids. What?
You don't like that?
Why would there be a pledge at all? Like, what happens if you don't pledge? Are you labeled a traitor, a spy? I mean, what happens?
Well, yeah, you write down their names.
Right.
Of the kids that won't do the pledge.
Right.
And then you ship them out.
Well, there you go. Problem solved. I mean, think about, were you ever in Boy Scouts?
I was not in Boy Scouts.
How
could you be in Boy Scouts? You're an atheist.
Yeah. Don't tell them. Actually, besides the whole God thing, Boy Scouts have a pledge.
Okay.
But the pledge is...
help old ladies cross the street.
Well, seriously, the pledge is like, be trustworthy, be responsible, be clean. I don't know what clean really has to do with, seriously. It's cleanliness. They're actually
the point is you can go out into the woods and build a fire and eat berries and know which ones. But make sure you're clean. Make sure to clean behind your ears and under your foreskin.
Oh, jeez.
What? That wasn't part of the pledge?
I don't know many kids who have foreskin in the States. Well.
Are you checking?
I have actually checked the statistics.
No. Don't admit this. Don't admit this.
I have actually checked the statistics.
Oh, I thought we were going to have to cancel this whole podcast.
The statistics of the circumcision rate across the United States is very sad to me, anyway. But the whole point is, like, at Boy Scouts, you make a pledge, right? But it's a pretty harmless pledge. It's like, just be a generally good person.
Yeah, I can know. Okay.
If I forget the whole God thing. And
is part of the pledge there to be godly too, or in the Boy Scout pledge?
That's a huge part of it. All right, I'll pull it up here, but honestly, I don't remember that much. Wasn't that important, I guess. But the whole pledge to your country, that we just, come on, there's just no need for it.
Why? I want to know this. Why does every pledge have to have God in it? Why does every single pledge, there's a pledge to allegiance, the Boy Scout pledge, the sobriety pledge.
Well, all of that was quite recent. Don't forget the whole 12-step program started up during the Prohibition era as a way to push Christianity. Just the same as Harvey Kellogg pushed Christianity by circumcising boys in the country. He also wanted to put carbolic acid on women's clitoris in order to prevent them from masturbating. That's Harvey Kellogg, as in Kellogg's cornflakes.
Oh, yeah.
He also enjoyed
with the sanatorium
He also enjoyed getting yogurt enemas from young strapping men. But we'll not talk about that today. The whole point is, there was a whole evangelical push during the beginning of the 20th century, and it pushed as much as possible this idea that if you weren't a godly person, you were a communist. And there had to be a stark difference between the two. And so a lot of religion was encouraged to enter politics as a way of affirming that you weren't a communist. Think about the McCarthy era. Mm-hmm. That had a lot to do with these things. So there's a reason for why that huge push, why In God We Trust was in the money in the 50s.
Right.
All of that happened about the same time. If you actually think about it, at the end of the 20th century, the most prominent speakers in the country, Mark Twain, Huxley, they were traveling around the country. They were all atheists. They were all talking about the advent of science and the progression of education. In all likelihood, people thought at the end of the 20th century that religion was on the steep decline.
You know what I just watched? The Imitation Game.
Oh, how was that?
It was excellent. And I think the thing that it blows my mind because this guy was a war hero.
Yes.
Nobody knew about it.
It was classified.
Yeah, classified for about over 50 years. And then he was chemically castrated because he was a homosexual. And he ended up killing himself. This guy basically saved if the movie is correct, because that's where I learned my facts.
Okay.
He basically shortened the war by 2 years and saved 41 million lives.
Yeah.
And yet, because he was a homosexual, that was the big thing, and had to be chemically castrated so he can continue working on Christopher.
At the time, they perceived it to be not an element
ill of the mind.
They considered it to be a disease. They considered it to be something that had to be negatively reinforced. And unfortunately, they did so in such a way that irreversibly changed people's bodies, that screwed up their chemistry, and really forced people into depression. And unfortunately, we lost a great mind far too quickly, simply because we refused to even try to understand human sexuality without the veil of culture, tradition, and religion. Every step of the way.
And I find it interesting how this even ties into, and think about how much. Now, granted, he probably didn't have that much. I don't think he had a lot of nationality. Wait, what were we talking about this whole time? Patriotism. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Patriotism. He wanted to solve puzzles, but at the same time, probably one of the biggest patriots of his country.
There is an inverse correlation, and I strongly emphasize correlation here, between intelligence and patriotism. The more you start to see how interconnected everything is, how much similarity we have, despite the whole arbitrary political lines created, the more you realize that the advance of human civilization is far more important in any sense of nationalism. I mean, Nazi scientists were not as interested in Nazi propaganda or Nazi nationalism as they were as just working in science. How many of them went to Russia or the United States or hell, wherever they felt like they could advance science the most? How many Germans,
wherever you could.
Yeah, how many Germans worked on the Manhattan Project? How many?
Right. Well, I was going to say wherever you could, experiment on humans. That would probably be the best place to advance, knowledge of human physiology and
ethics. No, that's what it comes down to. Patriotism, nationalism is a farce, in my opinion. It needs to end. It's absolutely silly. Anybody who spent considerable amount of time outside of this country will clearly see that there's nothing inherently special about this country except the people who live in it. Oh. And if the people who live in this country are dicks to people from other countries, that really doesn't say much about the country that you live in or why you should be proud of it. If anything, patriotism should be an emphasis to work together, to combine efforts for the betterment of all people. And if that's not what your sense of patriotism is, then I kind of think you're working backwards on us.
Well, and it's like that where people are talking about how other countries, in fact, the war going on right now, people are they want to get over, they're jealous of us. They want to get over into this country.
They want our freedom.
No, we interjected ourselves into their business.
I think most Americans would be very surprised by how little of the freedoms that they proclaim to have are either unique to this country or not massively better in other countries.
Yeah.
When you look at the situation in Iraq right now, the people don't understand what they're fighting for. They have a very vague idea of nationality. You're finding people who work for the Iraqi army and who constantly flee their post.
Right.
So morale and patriotism is a really useful tool when you're using military. But
you know what? I bet you Iraqi kids never said a pledge.
Well, it depends if they're in Boy Scouts. I mean, how about that? Boy Scouts.
They're probably not sober either.
Boy Scouts is an organization from France. And yet, when you're an American Boy Scout, you have to pledge to your country. I found the article right here. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country.
Do my duty.
I don't know what. Nobody ever told me I had a duty to God and my country. I was freaking born here. I didn't have much of an option. And obey the Scout law to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. See, I like that. I mean,
you like that you have to be morally straight?
Morally focused, as in morally consistent. That's the way I read it.
Okay. Because I was going to say, it sounds like they're basically saying don't be gay. Morally straight.
This was written way before the actual...
Way before gays?
Well, before the whole controversy, before the evangelicals took over the Boy Scouts of America. Don't forget, this was written before it was an American organization.
Oh, that's true.
So, I mean, it was adapted to be nationalistic.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
What's brave?
Did I say brave?
I thought you said brave.
Sorry, that was meant to be brave.
Oh, I was like, I'm with you. Wait, what the heck is brave?
The pledge, the oath. I get that. It's a nice idea. But then there had to be politics thrust into it on something that's made for kids.
Right.
Why does anybody need to be talking about nationalism or gods when they're kids? There's a reason why we don't trust them to make decisions.
Well, hey, other countries do.
Do they?
Yeah, other countries give kids guns, let them go out and fight wars. Why don't we? I think today.
Yeah.
I think today we should work because if kids are going to say the pledge,
yeah, then
they should be able to fight the wars
and drink.
No, don't
and lots of drugs.
Don't get
Give
ridiculous.
Kids lots of drugs.
Don't get ridiculous. If they say the pledge, they're able to go off and fight the wars. So what will you say at 5? Fine, 5-year-olds. 5-year-olds can start fighting in wars. I like it.
There's a reason. So we have something called the age of reason, which is completely arbitrary. It depends on the person. It goes from person to person, and I mean, everyone has a different age of reason, but when it comes to how we apply rights, obviously you can't be specific to every person. We say 18 to vote. Some people can rightfully vote younger, but we don't allow them because it just has to be a standard. I get that. But I don't know. I'm ranting now, but going off on kids learning the Pledge of Allegiance is upsetting. Yeah, and on that note, I also have no problem with stepping or burning or doing whatever to an American flag. It's your freedom. That's called expression. Mm-hmm. It's a symbol. I get it. I still think that guy's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Because he's just trying to piss people off. And that's not how you make progress.
Well, and I like how he says it stands for racism. The flag stands for racism, white supremacy. I was like, this could be a completely different topic, but I like how sometimes people talk about reverse racism. There's no such thing as reverse racism. There's just racism. Yeah, there's just racism. No, and this gentleman might be completely right in the flag, in its history, in its relation to racism, in its relation to sexism, in its relation to so many things. Mm-hmm. But what are you planning to do about it? The answer is not... Stomp on it.
Stomp on things. That's actually... I mean... it's not even an effective way to protest.
Well, it got
attention.
News. It
got attention, but what's the reaction?
Negative, but you know.
Well, racism's done now? No.
You didn't hear?
If you really
look outside. I bet you won't see any racism.
If you want to end racism, you have to educate people. You have to educate people with perspectives, with awareness, with knowledge. And you can't do that by stomping on a flag.
I feel like educating people is going to be your answer for everything.
It generally is.
I mean, we obviously know I'm way more educated than you.
Yes, I believe that.
I mean, from that test we took earlier.
You're a better American.
More patriotic.
Or just to continue this gripe, all the people in this country who pretend to know what it means to be an American, who say that somebody else is doing something that's anti-American or not American or un-American.
But that's American, is being able to do what you like. Well, and except for the part that, you know, that laws don't allow, and like fishing, you know, you need a license, and you need to have a license for your car.
Yes.
You can't...
Whoever said America is defined by freedom?
Everybody who fought for a flag.
Freedom,
the American flag.
Freedom is a cute, catchy word that gets thrown around to mean just about anything and everything. It tends to coincide with the person's individual desires.
So, see, I was trying to wrap up this gripe, but what do you mean by that? What do you mean by this now?
Well, anybody who uses the word freedom tends to use that word to refer to the things they want to do but are somehow unable to, or something they're proud that they are able to do, and rarely is used when talking about someone else's rights and abilities.
Well, one thing is that basically a freedom fighter and a terrorist, they're the exact same person. It just depends on whose side you're on.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Well, some people are criminals, though. You commit a crime, it's a crime. You're a criminal. You murder someone,
again,
that's a crime.
But that's not the same definition for a terrorist, because what could be considered a terrorist act can also be considered fighting for freedom.
Well, technically, terrorism implies that they've broken the law somehow, or that they've... Well,
yeah, but the definition of terrorism is very vague.
That's true. That's very true. Technically, anyone causing terror could be a terrorist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boogity, boogity, boogity.
Oh, Grandpa Joe.
Your Grandpa Joe is a terrorist? You know, actually, before we wrap this up, I did want to point out one thing when I was talking about the pledge earlier.
Yeah.
One thing that was said is, again, I said somebody pointed out that they're like that argument. If you don't like it, go ahead and get out.
Right.
Now, I gotta say, I think Porky Pig is patriotic.
He is?
Wait,
the cartoon?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think he is, when you think of patriotism, I think there's nobody, well, there might be one person more patriotic, and I'll bring him up too. But I just wanted to have you listen to something, because don't you think Porky Pig is patriotic?
That's not where my mind would have immediately gone, but I understand his role in propaganda from the past, yes.
See, and so I just kind of wanted to point out that the big issue was when somebody said, go ahead, and if you're not going to say under God, get out.
Right.
Well, do you think we should send Porky Pig out of the U.S.?
Oh, geez. Did you find one of his old videos?
I need you to listen to This is Porky Pig giving the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, because they didn't mention under God.
Yeah, well, okay, and here's my thing is, I think that under God shouldn't be in there, and here's why.
Right.
Because it says one nation, and if you put under God, indivisible, okay, first of all, we're divided. Right there. In that sentence, we're divided between people that have God and people that don't have God. That is an exclusive statement.
Well, the whole point of adding that statement was to root out atheists from the country.
It's an exclusive statement. And the thing is, if you just say one nation, indivisible, that's inclusive. Well, and shouldn't we all live together?
But on that note, though, there were so many, I don't know about you, when I was a kid, there were so many cartoons that were, really pushing the whole global thing, the whole, there was Captain Planet on the global side of things, and then there was G.I. Joe with the whole nationalism. Yeah, well, though they were fighting Cobra, it was some bag enemy.
You know who's more patriotic than G.I. Joe, though?
Who?
Popeye.
Popeye?
Popeye.
In what way? What, because he was a sailor?
He was Popeye the Sailor Man.
Oh, come on. Just because he was a sailor doesn't make him a patriot. We've already gone over this.
What?
Just because you're a sailor doesn't mean, I would say Popeye... Okay, so Popeye, as far as I remember, is kind of a patriot because he works very hard to correct the ills of society by actively engaging. And he's also very similar to many of the...
Do you think Bluto was a commie?
Huh?
Do you think Bluto was a commie?
He was a bully.
And we all know how to fight bullies, kids, right?
Yeah, just...
Eat your spinach.
Eat your spinach and pow him in the face until he flies to the moon.
Hey, why are you advocating violence?
Well, honestly, that was the old-fashioned way of things.
So you think G.I. Joe, though?
Oh, yeah, I think G.I. Joe was the most patriotic thing that
they had a lot of nationalism.
Well, I mean, like I said, as opposed to Captain Planet, there were so many good... I look back at them, they're not as educational as I remember them to be, but there was a multi-ethnic group.
Oh, come on, the more you know.
People who were trying to save the planet.
What is knowledge is power? What is the freaking phrase? What is the phrase for G.I. Joe?
The power is yours. No. That's Captain Planet.
No, knowledge is power.
The more you know, is it no? There was one of those.
Wow, we are really dumb.
But they were PSAs. They didn't really have any...
No, but that's not it.
They were like
the more you know.
Kids to stay away from drugs.
Is that the G.I. Joe theme?
I don't think that's...
Knowledge is power.
The more you know. That's the one with the golden star.
Yeah, I know that, but that didn't come from G.I. Joe.
No,
you keep talking. I'm going to figure out the G.I. Joe G.I. Joe theme or slogan.
No, I'm just really happy. I don't see any cartoons on TV today which are heavily loaded with
Knowing is half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle?
Yeah. So close.
It's not really, though, half the battle. Because you can tell someone
You're going to argue with G.I. Joe.
You can tell someone that climate change exists, and they're like, oh, I know that now.
Well, that's half the battle.
That's not half the battle. That's really not. There's a lot more they could do.
Okay, I would say if there was a G.I. Joe now... They would say, not refuting the facts is half the battle.
Yeah, not denying science is half the battle. Okay, I will give them that. No, there's so many kids shows that were either really good on complete propaganda or...
like Captain Planet.
Well,
Save this planet. Propaganda.
Yeah, it was environmental... propaganda.
Yeah, like Heart is really gonna do anything.
The power
Carrying
of
is half the battle. Baloney.
Well, they were planting trees and teaching kids stuff.
The only good power he had is he had a monkey.
He had a monkey? Oh, the kid with the heart?
Yeah.
Wasn't he? Was he Central American?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I know. But like the American had fire, the Russian had.
There was a
wind.
Russian.
The blonde girl, wasn't she Russian?
They let a Russian in America?
It's Captain Planet.
Where did they live?
It's not Captain America.
Where did they live?
On the planet.
There's one thing I can be sure of is Captain Planet's no patriot. Bringing immigrants into the country, pushing
probably illegally
liberalist environmental propaganda on kids. I'm surprised they didn't haul Captain Planet off.
I don't think there's ever been another... Has there ever been another cartoon that has pushed like a positive message such as like Care About Your Planet? Not movies.
Oh, not movies.
Not movies. Like...
I don't know, Ninja Turtles were horrible. They were throwing crap everywhere.
They lived in a pizza sewer.
Box. They lived in the sewer.
And they ate pizza. You're going to compare the Ninja Turtles to Captain Planet?
Well, toxic stuff was bad.
Can you sing the Captain Planet theme song?
Captain Planet. He's your hero. Here to
Gonna
take crime down
pollution.
to zero.
Pollution. Crime?
Whatever.
He doesn't fight
Pollution's
crime.
A crime.
He's here to take pollution down to zero. He's our powers magnified, and he's fighting on the planet side. Captain Planet. Wind, water, fire. Heart. I don't know. Was there air in there somewhere? All right.
There was one of those.
It really the 4 elements in heart. I don't know.
4 elements in heart.
Was there another one? I don't think there's ever been another. There's never been another cartoon that has had such a centralized positive message.
What was that?
Don't pollute. Like, save your planet.
That's a really easy one to cover. They could have covered that in one of G.I. Joe's PSAs.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think
the
there's
whole
ever...
premise of that show was just drilling it into kids.
Yeah. Brainwashing.
Well,
Positive brainwashing.
We are incredibly more environmentally conscious than our parents.
Because of Captain Planet.
It also had a lot to do with the education we had in school.
Nah, it's Captain Planet.
It was
Captain Planet.
But can you think of another? G.I. Joe.
But there's never been another cartoon like that.
Kids didn't really absorb the morals of their cartoons, though. Kids were analyzing things. They knew how to judge for themselves. Like, how many kids knew about Ren and Stimpy and some of the pretty
I internalized
messages.
all the cartoons, man. I know how many licks it takes to get to the bottom of the Tootsie Pop.
The bottom?
The middle of the Tootsie Pop.
I think that kids watch these cartoons and they're able to, they don't necessarily internalize all of it. I think they really are able to judge for themselves which morals are good and which morals are bad.
Isn't that internalizing it?
No, but they're judging it for themselves. They're not swallowing it whole like I think the people who wrote these shows thought they would.
I don't think cartoons nowadays have a message like that.
Do you know of a single kid who grew up worshiping Captain Planet who was like, I want to be Captain Planet someday? No, it was all about X-Men. It was all, oh, don't put your hand up. Don't do it. No, you did not want to be Captain Planet.
Are you kidding?
Why would you want to be Captain Planet? He has to constantly pick up...
He lived in the rings.
No, you don't get the ring, though.
I get all the power.
No, you don't. No,
I can grow trees.
You will live at the whim of the ring bearers. Every time they have fucked up and caused some horrific mess, you're there to clean it up for them. You're like the parent
but that's
crappy superheroes.
That's why I liked Aquaman, though.
What?
Aquaman is one of my favorite superheroes.
So now would you rank Aquaman above or below your desire to be Captain Planet?
I would put Aquaman above Captain Planet.
I was gonna say Captain Planet is just there's no reason to be Captain Planet.
He's king of the ocean.
Captain Planet has responsibilities, not powers. It's not like he gets to use them for his own luxury.
Well, Aquaman also has responsibilities, though. He has the responsibility to take care of the Earth's oceans. Well, he's kind of up there. He's one of the most
Captain Planet's on the job. Aquaman,
economical, environmentally conscious superheroes.
What Aquaman? Because he has to be. He's living amongst filth and dying coral and fish.
Because of us, the oceans were fine.
Yeah, but what is Aquaman going to do? Become a terrorist? Like go strike?
He was.
What? What are you talking about?
There are certain episodes where Aquaman basically is considered a terrorist.
What was he doing?
Blowing up. Maybe not blowing up, but getting rid of like oil tankers and what could be considered terrorist acts.
Well, that's true. Like the merchant navy would be after him with a bounty.
Yeah.
If you see Aquaman.
I would be an ocean freedom fighter, and that would make me considered a land terrorist.
That puts Aquaman up there with PETA.
What?
People who are trying to take care of the environment to the point of harassing and even terrorizing other people.
All I know about PETA is that you do a lot of ads where they're naked.
Yeah, that
is not terrorizing me. That's just terrorizing my pants.
I'm just saying, I would not want to be Captain Planet. That would be a shitty position.
Can you think of another cartoon, though, that had such a positive message?
It was a concise message. It didn't take episode after episode to get that message across. I think most childhood cartoons had I've got it. David the Gnome.
I've never seen it.
It was on Nickelodeon in the early 90s. David the Gnome. He was a little gnome. He went around
David the Gnome was a gnome? Got it.
Yeah, he went around bandaging deer and fixing the forest from all the human destruction. There. It was way better than Captain Planet 2 because he didn't have mystical superpowers. I'd rather be David the Gnome who rubbed noses with his wife. That was a gnome kiss. It's kind of like Eskimo kiss, but it was a gnome.
I think that's a bad thing to say.
It's probably has no relation. I don't know. I actually don't know.
It's an Inuit kiss.
It's a form of Native American, yes. I don't know if they actually rubbed noses. I don't know if this is a stereotype, but either way, I do know that the gnomes...
I don't think gnomes are real.
The gnomes did. They lived inside of a tree. Come on. Although I have to wonder at what cost to the tree.
Ooh.
See?
Yeah, see, maybe I'm
David
thinking,
the Gnome, hypocrite right
Captain
there.
Planet fills.
No,
Tapped.
but Captain Planet didn't live anywhere.
He lived in those rings.
He didn't live in the rings. He lived somewhere in the sky. But he was just sitting around up there, waiting.
Just hanging out, just lounging on his fluffy
but he
cloud.
created some false flag
and then it took some goofy kid with heart to call him out.
He caused environmental destruction so that he'd be more wanted.
You think he was causing it so then that way they would actually have to call him out?
I think Captain Planet's a terrorist. He's causing seismic forces, disturbing water flow, all of these things in an effort to do something which could be accomplished by educating humanity.
I would think beavers are terrorists then too. If obstructing water flow is what you consider terrorism?
No, he didn't
obstruct damn it. Beavers?
No, Captain Planet had the ability to
beavers,
cause like
2 angry beavers,
tsunamis and water spouts everywhere. Just saying. Imagine being wrong fisherman on the wrong day there. Do you suppose he considered everyone?
He was probably overfishing, and that's why Aquaman killed him.
Aquaman killed him. Oh, well, that makes sense. I
took care of it.
I like there was a great college humor bit with Captain Planet being
I saw that
terrorist.
With Don Cheadle.
That's the way I've always envisioned Captain Planet.
And wouldn't you love to be Captain Planet then?
Oh, yeah. In that case, yes. He was a horrible thing. I wouldn't call him a human. Kind of.
Who, Don Cheadle? That's racist.
Anyway, I think that's a good point to call it a quits for today. Thank you, Jay. Would you like to remind people how they can contact us?
Oh, yes. Again, if... I was so abrupt. I was just thought we'd have more time to wrap that up.
We love you, Don Cheadle.
So, yeah, if you want to get in contact with us, of course, make sure to, I should probably say this. If you thought we were wrong, inappropriate, or biased on this episode, then make sure to call in, email, or tweet us. And you can email us at openmygripe@gmail.com or tweet to us at openmygripe. And we just got, we should probably say this earlier, but by now we have our YouTube channel set up as well.
Yes, we do. Check out YouTube.
You can find us on there, comment there.
It's called, get this, Open Mic Gripe.
I'm surprising.
So anyway, we hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you didn't, check us out next week when we will be discussing your gripes.